Hey guys, Saturday, February 22nd of 2025. This is part 2 of my Nat Gas Black Widow mind map. We finally updated it, added some dates that I'm watching, COT update, seasonality. I put weather there, but I haven't put anything there yet, but I want to put some data so I could kind of include weather in my research and my analysis. But we did update spectrum cycle analysis. We did update Elliott wave theory. Sentiment is updated, and seasonality. So I think this is a new one. I talk about it here and there in my video, but now it's kind of incorporated in the mind map. So let's look at the spectrum cycle, see what has changed. So looking at the spectrum cycle, you can see that the cycle was 210, now it's 211, which is typical. The phase is still in an uptrend, neutral, and the peak has now hit November 17 of 2025. So now it is adjusted from December. Now it's at November the 17th. That's the peak, but remember the bell curve. You get your midpoint here, you get your 25, you got your 75, you got your 100. It could be anywhere in this ballpark where this thing could probably peak and turn, and also be aware of the head fakes, where they make it seem like it's still going to go higher, but then they crash it or pull the rug under. But so far, this is new, so this is updated as of now. So that's the weekly cycle where it's going to hit a peak. And now using 5-year worth of data, we're at a top departure, and I think it was 328. Now it's 329 the cycle. And the peak is February 19. Right here. This is where we're at. The daily cycle peaked. So let's see now if we are going to turn with the daily cycle. It may not. It may just go sideways. I seen it go sideways. You can see here is a peak and it turns, just kind of goes sideways and then it really falls. But I've seen it go sideways. I've seen it continue going higher and ignore the daily spectrum cycle, and I've seen it turn. So what we want to see if the cycle is going to take an effect on that gas, we have our 1 by 1 coming up here. We want to see it crack the 1 by 1, which is your 45 degree. That's the first sign. And that's going to be the one sign that I want to go short. As long as we stay above the 1 by 1, I don't want to short this. We above the 200 moving average. We above the 100 moving average. The trend is up, so it's very risky. But if you're going to follow some of these indicators and things like that, then you'll have to make a choice. If not, keep buying the dips. And hopefully maybe it's not the one where it really, does an ABC on you. But so far, February 19th has hit the peak. And if this cycle is correct, this cycle is going to start going down. So let's see how that's going to play out. In regards to the Elliott wave, looking at the monthly, I got yellow for caution and daily for kind of leaning a little bearish. So on the monthly, we're on a wave 3 as of February 29th of 2024. Now working on a wave 4 projection. First target is 438 and second is 505. So if wave 4 is still not in, we already went as high as 447 on February the 20th. So if it's going to go higher, there's a 505 target for a wave 4 in the monthly. I'm not leaning too much on this one, but I put it there because that's what the data is showing. In regards to the weekly cycle, weekly Elliott wave, we are on a wave 2 that put in place August 30th of 2024, and currently on a wave 3. Possible wave 3 targets is 440, which we already hit, and the second one is 595. So on the weekly, we're on a wave 3. This is our wave 2 date. We already hit this one, and if it wants to go higher, 595 is next. But if we already hit our high, according to Spectrum, then possible wave 4 targets will be, first one will be 368, second 335. Those are wave 4 projection targets on the weekly. Now the daily is interesting because our wave 4 was January the 31st of 2025. That was that 302, 304, 299 right here, this date. We are currently on a wave 5, so possible wave 5 projection. Your first one is 462. We haven't kissed that yet. We went as high as 447. But if it's going to do a little bull trap, it wants to entice more bulls, then 462. And if you are a bull, you're expecting higher prices, this is a possible target using Elliott wave theory. Second will be 562. But it's red, indicating that we are on a wave 5. And that's why this cycle is red, because now this cycle has turned, and now this cycle goes down. Green one is still positive. So that covers that. Sentiment. Let's look at sentiment now. Sentiment. Monthly still bearish. 32.44 was our last reading, and the updated one is 32.19, so it's still going a little lower. The weekly used to be 42.88. Now it's 49.67. So the weekly is still pushing. Sentiment is still positive. And our daily has turned bearish. We used to be at 74, pretty much 75. I'm remembering the indicator. 75-ish. We left off. And now we're at 62.52. So the daily sentiment's a little on the weaker side. Weekly still positive, and monthly still bearish. So this one is kind of leading early and letting us know what the sentiment is. In regards to seasonality, this one's going to be interesting. The seasonality, I look at data from 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years. As you can see, this is our February. Pretty strong within 5 years, and that's what's reflecting with regards price action. But then March is very weak, below the 50%. And then you see April is very strong. Looking at 10 years, you can see that February is a little below 50 and March is still weak, but April for some reason is strong. Looking at 10 years, you can see that March is still weak, February is still weak. 20 years, February and March. February is weaker compared, unless you're looking at the 5 year. But February is weak, and then March is kind of flat. You can say a little bit flat, borderline flat. This is a little weaker. You can kind of say flat, and then April gets this massive explosion to the upside. So I'm thinking if the daily cycle is topping out and we are at a wave 5, I wonder if April is going to be our low. So last time, April 2023 was our low on April 14 of 194. So I wonder we're going strong February to then make a low either March or April. Maybe an ABC into April and then kind of maybe rally into August. But this is just, pure speculation, just kind of, looking way into the future. Unless it's still going to continue. Maybe March pull back, ABC correction, and then continue. I don't know. But I just wonder if it's going to be an inverse. So we'll see how that's going to play out. But so far, 5 year, February strong. That's what's happening. March is weak. And then April is strong. Let's go to the commitments of traders report. So I put a trend up and I put a trend sideways. This one, because I have a model that's still telling me still sideways. This one, the daily is above the 200 and the 100 moving average. So the trend is up. But the weekly, we're getting very close. We're chopping back and forth under 200. So weekly, 100, 200 SMA, prices are above it. Trend is up. Weekly, we're above the 200, but if that pulls back, I want to see if the daily is still going to hold the 200 and the 100 moving average. So that so far, slowly grinding higher, waiting for this one to give me the positive signal. In regards to the commitments of traders report, as you can see, large speculators barely took out August 5th low. And look at them reverse. So now they're hedging, betting that nat gas is going to turn down. There was not a lot of conviction with commercial thinking that nat gas was going to continue going higher into February, maybe even March. So they're reversing. And now I want to see if they're going to reverse and push higher, if they're going to take out this October high right here. But if it's nat gas is going to continue grinding higher, we need to take out that August 5th low. That August 5th low is 48,000. In regards to large speculators turned on a dime on the 27th. Remember, we made a high on the 13 at 436. It kind of pulled back. And then in February, we did the high on 220 at 447, while large speculators are unwinding, maybe shorting, maybe locking in profits. Whatever it is, they're not too excited about nat gas going higher. We barely closed, or we just kissed it and then reversed. So large speculators are short, unwinding, locking in position, unloading, and commercial are hedging. So that's the position of the big players there. In regards to seasonality and percentages, I adjusted this. February still down. What's interesting here is that my seasonality here shows, this is another model, shows down. But when you look at seasonality models, well, using the 5-year, it's probably reflecting the 15, the 10, and the 20. February's weak. But when you get closer to 5 years, you can see that February starts looking strong. In regards to March, it's pretty flat. Very flat, and you can see that March flat when you use the 10-year, the 20-year, and the 15-year is very, very close to flat. The only time where it's really ugly is with the 5-year data. So that's why you see some things don't kind of line up. And lastly, this is the best part, swing dates. So I have anniversary dates, December 12th. That's our all-time high, 1565 on nat gas. And our pretty much, I think the all-time low, June 25th low of 2020 of 144. This is an interesting number. I've always said it. Interesting number that we made a low on June 25th at that price. So dates that I'm watching was going to be the 26th. So this is focusing on February and March dates. This one is an extra because it's I wanted to clean it up a little bit. But these dates relate to this high and this date. So the 26th, which is coming up, and I'm looking already into March the 9th. Important dates that I'll be watching. In regards to February dates, I don't know if it's going to be high volatility. As of right now, this is our spectrum cycle high right here, the 19th, the 20th, another date that we just passed. And we kind of made these highs around here. So I want to see if now nat gas is going to take these highs out, or it's going to ignore it and start trending lower. We also have the 24th that I'm watching that will be coming up, which is Monday, and then the 26th, and that's it. So 2 more days. But this is the cluster dates that I have on my radar for possible turning points here. And there's a few that are already locked in. We just got to see if we're going to break above and continue pushing higher. Then these will be void. And then I'll watch the 24th and the 26th. Now looking at March, I'm looking at the 3rd, the 9th, the 14th, and the 19th. So if we make a high, I'm looking for maybe some swing lows. Not the final low, but maybe some swing lows. Or maybe highs. If we continue pushing higher, I'm looking for highs into March. The 3rd, if the Black Widow wants to, play games and make it seem like we're still going to grind higher and ignore commitments of traders report and commercial hedging and large speculators unwinding or selling or whatever, and she's making it seem like we're still going to grind higher and whatever, then these are the dates I'm watching for the rug to be pulled. Now, if we continue going lower and one of these pick the high, or it's pretty much in already, the 20th, I believe, was the high as of now, or 47, then I'm going to be looking for these as like little pivot points to like bounce off. Not final lows, but, you know, bounce off points for March. I think that's it. So that's pretty much my mind map. Really like this. I'm really expanding on it. And I'm working on my Excel sheet, and that's more like time frames, the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour that I look at to kind of see what's going on there. So that's pretty much it. And the new one that I'm adding here is the weather, and that's going to be something new I'm going to be working on, adding on it. So that's it. That's my report for this. Tomorrow we'll do a video in regards to the geometry and the cycles that I am watching, that a lot of it's confirming a lot of this right here, which is interesting, and this right here. And those cycles that I'll be showing tomorrow have nothing to do with these. This is all independent. This is spectrum cycle. It's on its own. It's just looking at price action. You guys know spectrum cycle. That's all on its own. Elliott wave is totally on its own. Nothing to do with this. And what I'm going to be showing tomorrow, and this is all Gann stuff. This is very esoteric and very. I don't talk about the technique on this because I might spook some of you guys, because I look at different things that you think is crazy. But we'll see. And the cycles that I'm going to be posting tomorrow has nothing to do with none of this. And you already seen some of it. So we're going to see how this is all going to play out. I'm very excited. Just to give you a heads up. Remember the 45 degree, the 1x1. If price action cracks it, I am going to go short. That's my game plan for next week. I have to keep watching the price action. Make sure, as long as it's above the 45 and it's above the VWAP, I'm not going short. But anything below that, I'm going to pounce and join the Black Widow. I'm going to sign out. Hope you like this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on the nat gas.